Hi and welcome everyone to the Creative Cast. My name is Lucas Holman, and the last few weeks have been a bit too quiet. Like first one I was on vacation, so it was all planned out. But the second was a bit not so planned. You can only do so much when your guests get ill, but you gotta just roll with it and do the best out of it. But today we're back stronger than ever. For the first time, we're having a musician on the show, the guitarist of the music group Words of Farewell, Rob and Dirks. Welcome to the show, mate.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Let's go. I'm happy to have you here. I'm really looking forward to dive with you into the world of music, especially within Germany in a European context, and within your genre, which is, let's say rock or heavy metal.
Yeah.
Already screwing this up.
Very generally speaking, but yeah.
Very, very generally speaking. But I'd like to get started with you, getting to know you better. So feel free to share with us a bit of your background story and how you ended up in the music industry.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Rob. I'm 32 years old. I'm playing guitar for 20 years now. Started playing drums in like 2008, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I founded my first music group, my first band in 2003.
Yeah. All right. You found it yourself.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was a thrash metal band. Not very professional, but it was a lot of fun. Was actually more professional than some of the bands I played in later, but no comparison to what I'm doing right now with Words of Farewell. That's a whole nother ball game.
Mm-hmm. So you did start pretty early there.
Yeah, not really. I started playing guitar at 12 years old. I first started playing the flute like almost every kid in Germany, I guess.
In the world, probably.
I don't know. When I was, I guess, 6 years old or stuff like that. Mm. And then I got bored of it pretty quickly, like most of the kids, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, I don't know when it was, some year, actually on Christmas, one of my cousins brought his guitar. Mm-hmm. And played just something. And maybe it was even Nothing Else Matters from Metallica. I don't even remember. I guess it was that. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I want to do that too. And then that got stuck in my head and came out more and more. And then I I really bothered my parents like, I don't know, 1 or 2 years until they bought a classical guitar for me. And then I started that. And what actually got me into that was really my cousin playing guitar and stuff like Queen, which I listened to all my life because of my dad. So Brian May was, I guess, a huge influence for me. He is not really musically, but he got me into playing guitar pretty much.
Okay, so it kind of inspired you to do
that.
All right.
If you listen to I Want It All and the intro solo from Brian May, it's so amazing.
Orgasm every time.
Which I guess people who know me are like, what? He listens to Brian May? But yeah, that was really what got me into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's a classic.
Funny story, I ended up not being a lot of a lead player after that, so not playing that much solos, and I'm more into playing rhythm guitar, riffs, and stuff like that. Which all the stuff that sounds nasty and evil and brutal. I love that.
Okay, I get you.
But I got into the whole lead stuff just later.
All right.
But that was what got me into guitar. And then after starting guitar, I actually first listened to metal. So I got through Queen and Brian May, I got to playing guitar. Through guitar, I got to Metallica, and from then on, it just escalated quickly.
There's no way back.
Yeah, from Metallica, it went to Slipknot, and then Slayer, Pantera, Machine Head, everything like
all
that.
those very well-known groups. right there. So you kind of just started on yourself. But at what point did you realize you wanted to actually start a group or play in a group?
Pretty early. I played for, I don't know, I guess I played like a year or so. And then after that, I started riding the skateboard. It was just like for a year, always every day riding the skateboard and not pretty much not playing guitar at all. Mm-hmm. And then after let's say I broke my leg, it was something different, but I don't know the terms in English.
Okay, you just injured yourself.
I injured myself, and after that I rediscovered, hey, I have a guitar here, or actually two, and I started playing guitar again. And then I purchased my first electric guitar. Mm-hmm. And then I got hooked, and then at school I asked a friend of mine, "Want to start a band?" Yeah, man.
That's how it always started. Hey, you wanna do something crazy?
And then we started a band. We were, especially at the beginning, we were shitty as fuck. But it was great.
That's how you start.
Even our first show, I guess, was directly in front of 500 people in our town hall, and they all got really crazy after that because I was not really that over exaggeratedly excited, but I just felt like, okay, no, I cannot do anything except of just go for it. And then I screamed at the people, start moshing, or we won't play anymore. Yeah. And then they started moshing. It was like, yeah,
this is the right feeling. I like getting this.
Yeah, I loved it, and I was hooked immediately.
Wow, a great first experience. And I mean, starting big.
Maybe it was not really the very first experience. Okay, some birthday, but the first show that was not a little small private party.
Sure.
So the first official show was directly 500 people, which actually nowadays most of our shows are like under 500 people because the venues don't even. You can get
they don't fit.
Yeah, you don't fit 500 people in it, which is totally fine. But that was a very cool experience. That's the first gig.
That's exciting, and especially when you're not used to it, and it's sort of your first experience in front of a large audience.
Yeah,
you get that rush.
Yeah, it's crazy. Jumping into cold water. Do you say it in English?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's one of the first experience I associate with that term. Other than starting your first job after studying.
It's very different.
It's not actually that different. I'm here and now I have to get it done. Yeah. So. That was always how I approached it.
Okay. Fair enough.
So it's no use getting excited or fucking up because you're anxious or so. Just do it.
Really?
Now you can't take a step back. Now you're here, so do it.
True. Once you're on stage, right? Okay, fair enough. I mean, I always feel like, any first time you're in front of an audience on a stage, it's always frightening, right? And I don't know, at least for me, my heart goes very, very intense and I start to shake.
Maybe it was so addictive to me so that I don't. Yeah, it is a rush.
Yeah,
but I'm not anxious for it. I'm just like, oh yeah, I want to do this. So
that's definitely a sign that's the right thing to do. Then
yeah, and I really miss it now in Corona days.
Yeah, just jumped right into it. I thought how long is it gonna take until we speak about that?
Yeah. Yeah, musicians are pretty fucked these days.
Pretty much any entertainer that performs in front of an audience, right?
Yeah, but it's starting again. So some of my friends who play in cover bands, for example, they start having gigs again.
Oh, great!
There's a German cover band called Kicks, which I'm supposed to do the session guitarist for if Patrick or Matthias can do it because they are on tour with their other bands. But actually now it's starting, so I was booked for the first shows actually, and then Corona came and I didn't have any show with them until now. But I'm really stoked that hopefully the guys are getting so much gigs so that I can
get
more gigs from it.
It works for everyone.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're seeing an uprise there already.
Mm.
Oh, an improvement when it comes to getting shows out there.
Yeah. Especially if now that the weather is getting better, it's easier. I think with all the things you have to consider, all the measures that are taken, I think open air concerts are easier to manage.
For sure. It's for sure better than indoor, right?
Yeah, and we had one Corona indoor concert, and we had to play in front of plexiglass razors, and it was like, at first, at a metal show, there are like 20 people in a room that fits like 100 or 200 maybe. They are sitting on chairs.
Okay.
They're not moving, instead of like sitting, headbanging. You can see they want to go crazy. They want to go nuts. They are headbanging, but
they can't.
And you see them craving for movement.
Yeah,
that was cool. But at the same time, if you're standing in front of the mic, that's because everywhere where there's a mic, there's plexiglass in front of it, so that you can spit in the audience, because you're really you're shouting at the people. And then you see yourself because of the reflections of the plexiglass.
Oh my
and
God.
you're like, I'm standing in front of a mirror like a 13-year-old guitarist who's practicing in front of the mirror to look cool on stage. And what the fuck am I doing here?
Sounds more like punishment.
It was cool to get on people again, but it was very surreal.
Yeah.
It was a very weird situation. I don't want to say it was bad, but it was very...
it didn't feel how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, right. That's one of the things that I really enjoy for smaller shows. I really like to play big shows. I think the biggest festival for us and one of the biggest successes was to play the Rock Hearts Festival, which was...
Where is that?
I don't know. It's im Harz.
Im Harz.
That's why it's called Rock Hearts.
Ah, okay. It's an area here in NRV.
No. It's I don't even remember where. It's a little bit like 4 hours from here.
Okay, but
I don't. It's in Germany, but I don't actually recall it. Whoa. That's embarrassing. I don't actually recall in which area it is.
Biggest show? Oh, I don't remember where it was.
No, the name of the city was Ballenstedt, I guess, but I can't remember in which direction, north, south, or wherever.
Fair enough. I mean, that speaks for it, right? Must have been a crazy night for you not to remember exactly.
No, I was just hurrying there because I was so late, and I was like... in the transporter, and all the fans were waiting in the row to get on the festival. I was like driving by them, and they're all, "Hey, you asshole, you can't drive!" And I hear, "I have a VIP ticket. Fuck you! I have to go on stage." And I was like driving kilometers,
past people.
Yeah,
Jesus.
And they were all like, "Hey, what you doing?" And I was like always doing the air guitar. I have to play.
Jesus, but how many people were there? Like a few thousand, or?
Was it 12 or 20,000? I think 12,000.
All right, not so bad.
But I have to say we were the opening band.
Oh,
so not all of them were there.
Yeah.
The really cool thing was you could see the people run onto the festival area.
To the stage, yeah.
No, not actually to the stage. It was like they are coming for us, and they are coming for us, and then they passed the stage and went to the merchandise. That was so great.
Let's buy some stuff.
Yeah, but of course, then more and more people came to us, and it was a great experience, and was I don't know if it was the greatest show in terms of audience that were actually there for us.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe it was some different festival, but it was the biggest festival overall.
Yeah,
us.
Sure. In terms of who played there, how many attendants were there, stuff like that. Fair enough. Yeah, oftentimes probably you have a more engaging audience when it's a smaller group.
Yeah, that's the cool thing for smaller venues, and if there are there's a place where like 50 people are in there normally, and you push like 100, 150 people in it.
To the limits.
And you're playing there, and the people almost hit you in the nuts with their head when they're headbanging in the first row, and you have to concentrate not to punch them in the face with your guitar.
Okay.
That's a lot of fun because the energy is more there. If you're on a big stage, it's cool because there are many people, but you always have these wave breakers in front of it, and you always have like 2, maybe 3 meters between the stage and the audience, so that all the securities can go in there and all the photographs and stuff like that. But at the small shows, you don't have it. There's stage and then audience directly, and that's something I really love. Yeah, so I really love both.
All right, they have the benefits and the downfalls, like each in their case. They have the benefits, but also also the disadvantages. Just like everything.
Yeah. And there was one great experience, like maybe 2019 and so I think it was, where we actually it was one of our smallest shows, but it was at the same time one of the greatest. We played at our local bar.
Oh, nice!
Which is like 50 meters from my home, and I barely had to make a lot of promotion for it because I'm known at my city. That's and great. We're just like, hey, let's do it. We played for free, or we played for tips. Yeah. And then the people don't have to pay. We come there, and they don't even have a stage. They don't even have stage light. The stage lighting was just the normal headlamp over us. But it was so great because the bar was so full,
so packed,
so packed with people.
Yeah.
And there were even some of my colleagues from work wanted to come there, and they couldn't even come in because the people were waiting in front of the bar.
Yeah,
and couldn't get in.
The door.
And it was so great. The atmosphere was just bursting. It was very cool. And we played like a 2-hour show because we were the only band. We played some even Bon Jovi covers and stuff like that. It was so much fun. And that was one of the coolest shows, despite being one of the smallest shows, but I love that stuff. You don't even have a stage. You're just playing on the ground with the people. That's also very much fun. And that was just for us. Yeah. We don't have any costs except for it's for the gas coming there, but we can do party after that. We don't have to pay the drinks. Just do it just for fun, and it really paid out.
So I mean, you didn't have to go that far. It was right next to you. So there's that. But it sounds like music group goals, right? It sounds like the typical bar where you would start, and after you kind of get to some degree of success, you go back and you kill it.
Yeah.
The same place.
Yeah. That's like, hey, you don't. The cool thing is, it's like a fast car. You can drive 300
miles per. Well, kilometers per hour.
But you don't have to.
True. You have the potential, but you don't have to show it. That's dope. I love that story. I would love to deep into the music group itself a bit deeper. Yeah. Let's talk about the type of music you do and about the path you've taken.
Yeah. We do melodic death metal with some to a lot of progressive elements.
What does that mean? like just like me, there are a lot of people out there that may not understand those terms.
Even for me, it's sometimes, is that not the progressive part or that? It's
not very clear and defined, I guess.
Maybe it is even, but I just do it. I just do it from feeling. And I can just tell my point of view, what it is for me. First, the melodic death metal part is, so it's called melodic death metal because it's still death metal with deep growling and all this.
Yeah, okay.
And hard pounding drums and riffy guitars and very shreddy solos and stuff like that. Okay. And brutal stuff at times, but still having the melodic aspect in terms of we have a keyboarder in it who does a lot of atmospheric stuff, sometimes a whole orchestra behind it. Another story we can go back to later. Maybe we actually played with an orchestra.
Yeah? Okay, I love it. I'll ask you about it later.
And so, as I said, a lot of classical instruments also packed into the metal parts, like strings and horns and all stuff
nice
like that.
There.
Also, a lot of electrical instruments.
Sure, makes sense.
Where it fits, where it doesn't fit. And mostly it is very concentrating on, does it fit harmonically? So with normal death metal doesn't exist maybe, but in death metal in general, you can get away with anything. You can do whatever you want. You can get as fast as you want. You can get as slow and sludgy as you want and play really slow, heavy stuff. You can get as brutal as you want. You can sing about political stuff, and you can just sing about disemboweling people, and like a lot of bands like maybe Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that. Yeah. Some people think it's disgusting, but from my perspective, you have to think as if you're listening to the script of a horror movie.
Okay.
So it's just like ugly entertaining.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to interpret too much into it.
All right, so just feel it.
Yeah, it's just it's fun. He's cutting his head off. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not necessarily too deep in the meaning.
No, not at all. It's just like, or if you're pissed, just get it out and that's it. Just have something where you can get your anger away.
Fair enough. So it's more brutally honest in the delivery, maybe.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can do like death metal or grindcore, which is very politically, or social critically.
Yeah.
But there, musical wise, you can, of course, very concentrate on, is it harmonically fitting or not, or you can do very disharmonical stuff and stuff like that.
Okay.
But at melodic death metal, it's more or less very concentrating on, does it fit harmonically? You have to do it if you have a whole orchestra behind you, or
sure, makes sense.
You cannot play anything to it, and you have to play extremely tight, and it has to be produced very good in order to translate on record and live very well. Because if you're having a whole orchestra and I don't know how many tracks underneath all the guitars
layers
and stuff, layers under the guitars, it just gets muddy. The more you have, if you're not playing very tight,
sure,
and if you're not playing stuff that really harmonically fits. So if normal death metal is there, you can play stuff that sounds a little bit fucked up, but yeah, it's heavy, cool. And I love that. I actually listen more to normal death metal than melodic death metal because from where I come from, but it's changing slowly a little bit.
Okay.
Or not just a little bit, it's changing a lot, actually. But I really love the old school death metal, which is just in your face.
Either you like it or you hate it.
Yeah, I guess.
Pretty much, right? It divides. So that's why. So you're kind of more shifting to the melodic part of it. So that's maybe why you enjoyed playing with that orchestra that one time.
Yeah, it was still hard for me because in that orchestra we played some songs that were actually written for rock bands. We did a cover of the Scorpions, for example.
Oh, nice.
We actually did one of our songs that, and then Shiran,
What, Shiran?
Shiran is the woman who wrote the symphony we played there. So she wrote a whole death metal symphony.
Okay.
It was called the Headbanging Symphony.
Sounds nice. Very descriptive.
Yeah. By the way, that's Shiran Jinan.
Shiran is her name?
Is her first name.
Okay.
And Jinan. I always forgot how to spell it. Sorry, Shiran. And she is the string player, violinist. I don't know how to spell it.
Okay.
For like she was in Haggard, and she's now in New Model Army.
Okay.
And then she wrote the symphony for the Münsteraner Studentenorchester.
Oh, I saw yesterday you were wearing that T-shirt.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
All right, fair enough.
The orchestra, they made T-shirts for us. It was really sweet.
Dope. Yeah. It's always very welcome.
And we had a great after-show party after that. It was great. But concerning the songs we played the symphony consisting of 4 songs, and then we played the cover from Scorpions, and then one of our songs, for which Shiran has written a whole orchestra part to our song.
Yeah.
And that mostly wouldn't be possible if you're doing normal death metal, and if it's not really restricted to any rules in terms of in what mode are you, in what tonart. Yeah, are you in minor or in major and stuff like that? Because it's switching constantly, and that's
key. Maybe it's
in
key
which
major
key?
and key minor.
Yeah, I always forget.
That's all right. I'm surprised I know that.
I'm constantly learning still about that stuff.
You can lose yourself in there so much.
Yeah, I don't have a lot or even no background in musical theory.
Okay.
Even when I was playing like for 15 years or so, I just started to learn all that when I got into Words of Farewell. Until that, I just wrote thrash riffs where you don't necessarily need that. And I was just, I could play the stuff.
Yeah.
Which I also had to evolve a lot to play that, but I learned quite quickly. But all the writing of that, I just discovered it after that.
Sure, and reading all those notes as well.
I still can't read notes. I play from tabs.
Damn. I mean,
and for me, it's not practical. So
fair enough. I mean, it shows us that you don't necessarily need it for what you are doing.
Yeah.
To start a group, sometimes you just have it in you, and you kind of have a feel for it, and you don't necessarily have to rely on notes.
Yeah. The problem is also it depends a little bit on what instrument you're playing. I guess for me, maybe there are guitarists who can read the normal sheet music and the normal notes and play totally fast stuff after that. But for me, example, I have to learn it by heart anyway. So I never use sheet music, or if it's tablatures or tabs, that's the special notes for guitars, which is with just the strength and then the numbers in which fret you're picking the note.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for a guitar, you can play one and the same note on different strings. So you would have to have that in mind constantly if you're playing from normal notes.
Yeah.
So for me, that is not practical.
Sure.
On a piano, it's a whole different ballgame, because you only have any note just once there. Yeah. So that's a whole different thing.
Oh, okay. I mean, it has the benefit that you well, first of all, you learn it on your own, and second, so you do it at your own pace, and you learn what you need, right? Basically. Yeah,
but it's also a downside. I really have to admit that. And if I could talk to my earlier me nowadays, I would maybe tell myself, concentrate on this and this and this. Yeah. You would make a lot more progress, a lot faster.
Okay.
In the more important areas.
Which are, for example,
like some basics of music theory, in terms of like just normal chord progressions, how to use a cycle of fifth, for example.
Okay.
Which is
sure. Those people are into music.
Yeah.
More familiar with that.
And just on technique, like I was practicing like sweep picking. It's a technique for playing fast notes for solos and stuff like that. And I was practicing it for years and years, and I never got it right.
Okay.
And then I started just at the first lockdown from Corona. I took the first lessons from my new teacher now that I go to now and then. who's called Julian Scarcella,
Okay.
who's a very great guitar player and a very great teacher. I would say I'm a good teacher because I'm a guitar teacher too,
Okay.
but he is not only one step above me. He's extremely good.
Okay.
And he for the sweep picking, for example, it was just one or two things he told me. Hey, try this and that, and I was like a week later, it was this shit actually works. Now I can do it. And I made so much progress after only 2 lessons I got from him. I'm really thankful for that. And there was stuff that, you need a good teacher. If most people, searching for YouTube, and I also do that sometimes.
Sure.
But I'm really gotten away from that because now I know you can spend hours and hours on YouTube searching for info. Yeah. Or you can get a good teacher, go to him. Yeah, it's not for free then, but you pay him, and after 1 hour, you most likely have the 1 or 2 tips
you really need it.
You really need it, yeah.
Fair enough. Was it sort of your mentor, or did he just, had just a simple session with you?
I approached him. I got to know him some years, maybe even before that. At an Engel showroom opening, because we're both Engel endorsers, which is a company that produces high-class guitar amplifiers. And we got to know each other, just stayed in contact. And then after some years in the lockdown, I said, now I have time. I want to focus on this and this technique. And then I approached him, hey, can you give me lessons on this and that? He was like, yeah, sure. And then I prepared myself. What do I want to know? On what do I want to work? And then we did it. It was just, even the first 1 hour we did was just like one of the few tips that was like, whoa. I learned so much only from that. Yeah. And that's how I myself approach guitar lessons. So I really prepare myself on what do I want to work. Yeah. Then I get to work on that, and then after that, I first take my time and my pace to learn that stuff and to practice that stuff, and then when I'm ready to get back in, I reapproach him and say, okay, let's get on. Let's do more.
Okay, great.
Because for me, it is. There are a lot of times where I only pick up my guitar to teach myself, and I don't even get to practice myself or so. And that time, for me, it's not really useful to get more lessons because I'm stuck at the place where I was at the last time because I wasn't able to practice. And so I say, okay, I first want to practice it more, and then get back to it.
Okay. So sometimes you just need to ask, I guess.
Yeah.
For this guy that told you, because you were brave enough to reach out to him, and say, hey.
It is really, if you, especially I'm playing now for 20 years, and at that time it was like 18 or 19 years. If you're playing for that long of a time, you have to be honest to yourself and see what are the down parts of my playing.
Yeah,
where can I improve? Where do I want to improve? Because I would not need to be able to play this and that technique, but I want to do it just for fun and sometimes and also for I can do it.
Nice.
And then I think you have to go strategically. How can I do it? Where can I get the information? But also, you can also get a great teacher, but maybe it's not the right teacher for this and that technique for you.
Definitely. All right. Getting back to the group itself, words of farewell. I want to talk about the trajectory from when you started to where you are now. How you improved over time. What were your biggest challenges on the way? Because right now I'm here. I've asked you before that you're bringing out your fifth album.
Yeah.
So,
I gotta say beforehand that I just joined the band in 2014, so I cannot speak from my own experience in the beginnings of the band. But the band itself was founded in 2007.
Oh wow! Okay.
From our lead guitarist Erik, our singer Alex, and our keyboarder Leo, and another great guitarist called Phil, who's not in the band anymore, who I actually never got to know.
Okay.
And then some other people. And actually, the first drummer passed away.
What?
Within.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'd never gotten to know him, so I don't know. I'm not into that. Then they got a new drummer, and actually our current drummer, Tristan, who's now one of the really workhorses of the band, is already the fourth drummer. I don't know how is it with bass players, how many bass players the band had beforehand. I think Connie is now the third.
Oh, you got quite the record here.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And I am now the third guitarist for the band. But since I joined the band, we didn't have any changes. So the group we have now, the package we have is, for me, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it works fine.
It works very good. We get along great with each other. Of course, sometimes there are a little not fights, but yeah,
sure.
I guess everyone has it, especially in a band with 6 members. It's normal, I guess.
Definitely.
But everyone is top of their game. We are equipped quite well, also in terms of equipment. If we didn't have several home studios, which are quite professional by now, it would be a lot harder to produce records, especially in times where you don't have any income for the band.
Sure. Corona.
So I think we will continue in this lineup way more. That's very good. And we also have, of course, backups for most of the guys in the band.
Okay.
Which you need, because being 6 guys, there's always someone.
Sure.
You cannot show up for
or whatever.
And then we have backups for most of us.
Okay.
That was, so we still have half of the band is still original members. Then the band got the first record deal with the label AFM Records in 2011. Then released the first long player in 2012, which was our record Immersion.
Okay.
Then the second record was, I guess, 2014. It was shortly before I joined the band. That was The Black Wild Yonder. And then the third LP was A Quiet World, which we released in 2017, I guess.
A healthy stepping out, so like always like 2-3 years in between.
Yeah. For me, it's quite hard to rise out, and there's still no songs really that I have written that are on the records. For me, it's if you're writing like thrash metal stuff or death metal stuff, when it's not that complex, it's easier to produce records on a regular basis. There are bands, sometimes putting records out like once a year or so.
Yeah, which is quite fast.
That's very fast. Like I don't know if it's still like that, but like, for example, 6 Feet Under, they at least had times where they did that, and it was like, how can they put out that much of an output? That's crazy. But those were all great records. Yeah. So 3 years is a lot, I think. But yeah, sometimes the situation is not right, or sometimes you even don't know how to fund it.
Yeah.
Because you also need the money for that. And we are still not that big of a group. and we also have to put our own money into it a lot.
All right.
So you have to see, how can we do it financially? And then after the third LP, we left AFM Records and produced our latest EP, Inner Universe, on our own. That was last year, 2020. So again, 3 years period.
There's a pattern, clearly.
Yeah. But it was just 4 songs, so that you can see. Okay,
just 4 songs. All right, fair enough.
It took us more the same amount of time, but for less songs. But you also have to consider we are all at that time. Some of us were still studying. We just had our transitions from studying to work. Some of us working full time. I did a lot of overtime in the first years for my job. And we have to do the music completely aside. So that's still our side hustle, if you want to know that. So it takes a lot of time. And we played a lot more shows than we were used to. It's not that we were a touring band who like Hatebreed, who plays a concert at least every 2 days, if not every day. But we couldn't actually do it because we have normal daytime jobs.
And now the latest that's coming out.
Yeah. And now it was a lot faster after that, but I guess that was the good part from Corona. We didn't play shows, which is actually bad for us, but for writing songs, it was good because we had more time.
Sure.
That, of course, there are downsides from Corona. You don't have any,
very slim income.
Very slim income. Just some merch and stuff you can sell from your online shop.
Yeah.
But no shows that you can play, and at shows you will sell the most merch. Yeah. So that all went away. But the good side of it, the upside of it was we had time to focus on writing songs. We had time to focus on putting the latest EP out on ourselves, which was very good for us, very healthy. We more than doubled our fan base.
Oh.
That was one of our bigger successes.
Nice.
I would say,
you mean, or on social media, or?
Yeah, that's the only thing nowadays you can measure it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because especially now that everything is so globalized, you cannot tell, we played a show in country XYZ.
Yeah.
And there were only 2 people joining the show. But that's because you may have a huge fan base, but not in that country, and nobody comes to that country. Totally. So that the only thing you can really measure it are like numbers from like also the streaming services and the social media platforms. And the last EP was a good race for us in terms of that numbers that we can actually measure.
Okay, fair enough. So you're planning on the 5th one? It's still not out?
Yeah, it's ready to go. And now we're just in terms of doing all the organizational stuff. Yeah. I can actually say that we are now putting it out under a new label.
Endured label? Endured label? You're putting out on, what did you say?
On a new label.
On a new label.
A new record label.
All right. But it's still...
Okay. I cannot tell which one.
Fair enough.
But actually, they approached us, which was really nice. Through our latest video, which
nice. Yeah, which looks dope. Doesn't surprise me.
And they were really stoked, and they really made us feel wanted.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Refreshing.
It's really refreshing because we didn't have that in a long time. They really made us feel great and still are making us feel great, and they are pretty stoked to get the new record out and the new video. So the EP is now mixed and finalized and mastered, and the first video is also completely ready, so we're just in setting up the promo and stuff, and the record has to have a little time to get all the things done.
Yeah. How's it called? Last LP. How's it called, the last one that's coming up this year?
I actually don't know if I'm already allowed to say that.
Okay. Trying to scratch the surface here.
This a little. I don't know.
All right,
really
all right.
What can I say?
I have to try.
but there's something new coming out this year. It's like maybe 6 weeks or so.
Okay, nice. I'm looking forward to give it a listen. Yeah.
The video is really dope.
Mm-hmm.
It's and some of my friends who have already seen that, because obviously if you have the video, then you have some friends. Yeah, come on, show me. They are also, when do you bring it out? I want to see it again. Can we watch it at your place? Nope, you have to wait for it. That's always a good side with your friends. Like, oh yeah, I want more of that.
They can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for that, and I really hope that we can continue the growth of the last EP with this one.
Yeah, all right. So it's keeping up the pace you're having right now. Riding the wave.
Yeah, that's our ambitions for the future. First, growing our fan base even more.
Yeah.
And that's considering what we are able to do right now, which is like playing into the second part of our ambitions, like surviving Corona. Because I think a lot of bands, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of bands break up because of Corona. Oh, because they don't have income. That's we have our normal daytime jobs, which is actually a downside, but it's an upside because we're not depending on our musical income.
Yeah. So it's your safety net.
Yeah.
I mean, the groups exist now about 14 years, and you're still, struggling to, be self-sufficient with just the music.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a long run and a really hard game to play.
Yeah. And it's not, I mean, we're not the biggest band, of course, but I wouldn't consider us as a small garage band anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely not. With the music you're producing and the music and the video clips and all that.
Yeah. I mean, every garage band can get a professional sounding record and a professional looking video if they have the money for that. That's not the problem.
Yeah, clearly.
But I think then we are, let's say, internationally known in the scene of the genre, I guess. Mm-hmm. So there are people knowing us.
Outside
and not too few people.
All right.
The cool thing is when you get to shows like in foreign countries, like we played at Switzerland like a few years ago, for example, and then there were people who came from the other corner of Switzerland and drove through the whole country to see us, and they were like, "Yeah, we were waiting for you since the first record, since 10 years also," and we're like, "Whoa, cool,
wow!"
And those are the moments. You feel appreciated a lot. That's the greatest thing of being a musician for me. And you actually get to know, or sometimes it really confuses you because you think, nobody knows our band, and then you get people from other countries and stuff like that, and you seem to be really known.
Yeah,
and that's always confusing, especially in these days. Mm-hmm. Because it's very hard to know.
How to tell?
Are we now what you call famous, or are we not?
Yeah.
You cannot even tell it. And for me, it's just like I cannot tell if we are known really. And then you get to a show and you get, or sometimes you go to other shows. Like for example, there was a situation where some of us went to a Meshuggah show. That is a progressive death metal band from, I don't know, where are they from? Sweden? Some Scandinavian country? Mm-hmm. Sorry. I don't know which one. And there were people going up to our guys and were like, "You're here? I thought you were Americans or something." They didn't even know we were from Germany.
Oh my God. Well, fair enough. Step by step. I mean, sometimes you have nice experiences where people recognize you,
Yeah.
do show appreciation.
And
You know.
I can imagine that sometime in your career, then there comes a point where it changes, where it bothers you when you get recognized.
Yeah.
But we are not, at least from my point of view, we're not even close to that. So when it happens, which is not that often, but when it happens and people recognize you, it's still great. It's fun, and you get to know new people. You chat with them. Of course, it's a lot more when you go to, because we go to festivals ourselves. And when you go there and you get recognized, that's more often than if you just pass the street.
Yeah, of course.
Because especially in Germany, the metal community is not that big.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? I'm surprised. I thought it was bigger.
Yeah, I mean, in bigger cities, it is bigger.
All right.
But
in general,
I think in the town where I come from, there are a few metalheads, but I think there are just 2 of them that I don't know.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
It's a rather small community.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you actually about since you joined in 2014, what has been like the biggest challenge for the group?
Maybe really Corona.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't do any shows except for that one that I mentioned earlier that was very confusing, which were actually 4 shows on one day.
Oh, wow.
Or 2 days, but within 24 hours, which is very exhausting.
Yeah, sounds like a lot.
Yeah, we move on stage. I hate it when people stand on the stage and don't move and don't make good shows.
Okay.
When they play very technical and hard stuff, that's okay because they have to concentrate. But if you're playing just standing around, no, that's no go for me.
I understand.
It has to hurt.
You will have to remember it for the whole week, whether you want to or not.
If it doesn't hurt you, it didn't march enough.
Okay.
That's always how we approach it.
That's a goal.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a rule right there.
Yeah. But then Corona was one of our biggest challenges.
Surviving that.
Yeah, because just of the income, you still people were approaching us, but you can still put out records. Yeah, and who's gonna pay it?
Yeah. Who buys that?
Who buys it? There are people that are buying it, but it's if you're not playing shows and selling enough merch there.
Yeah.
Just with the internet shop, you most likely are not going to get all the money back that you invested.
Clearly.
So we continue doing it because we have goals and ambitions, and we are into it, and it's fun for us. But people seem to not know that you're putting in a lot from your own, financially and time-wise, and in times like these where life in general is a little bit harder sometimes. I'm very blessed that I work at a company which does automation, and we're not affected as much, not nearly as much as other people.
Lucky you.
Yeah, but staying creative is a little bit more easier. Hard times bring good songs, I guess.
Yeah, right. You have more time to think.
But staying motivated is another ballpark.
All right.
So if you have to see the sense in all of that, and if you're thinking, I can write songs all day, but I cannot even release them because I don't have the money to release them, then what do I do it for?
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if a lot of not only musicians, but musicians, artists in general, and then all the people that work for the whole event industry, like stagehands and all that people. Yeah. I would not be surprised if they either get depression, which I've also experienced in my near environment.
Okay.
More than once actually, since Corona, and
But yourself or
No,
someone you know?
gladly not.
All right.
Some people I know. Or that maybe still like if I would have been a stagehand, maybe I would say for myself, okay, now I have to learn another job or start at another job, and to see that the government does nearly nothing to protect us, those positions from that. Yeah. They just tell you're not allowed to work.
Yeah.
And then you tell me I'm not allowed to work, so help me.
Yeah.
And they say, yeah, we help you. They say it in front of the media, but they actually do not help a lot.
Yeah.
We had
I heard that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yesterday evening.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
We spoke about that with my girlfriend Ellie, which was here at the podcast before.
Yeah.
Is also an artist.
The whole family.
It was Black Hat Body Arts. And what the help she's gotten from the state was like.
She got, but she had to pay so many taxes back that she ended up keeping so little.
Yeah, you can't not even pay the rent from it. It's not even, you can like pay the food for 2 weeks or so, and that was it. So yeah, thank you.
Very frustrating.
Yeah, and if I would have been dependent on that income as a stagehand or whatever. Maybe I personally my reaction would be, okay, so I start to work at another job, maybe also do an apprenticeship or so, or whatever I can do to have some fixed income. And maybe I even would not go back to doing it professionally. Maybe at a side as a side hustle, but maybe not even as a full-time job, because I would be scared that if something like this happens again, then I know beforehand that I'm fucked.
Pretty much, yeah. If you don't have a very relying fan base, right? That keeps buying no matter what.
Yeah.
It's
because you don't have to think. It's not what you have to pay right now. But if you're not able to work anymore when you're older, you still have to have something on the side. And if you have at each crisis that comes, you have to. Use all your resources. Then what you gonna do?
You end up with nothing, and like, geez.
Yeah, and so it wouldn't surprise me if people react like that. I hope that they, it's fucked up to say. I hope they don't do it because I want them to be safe and stuff like that. Yeah. But I hope that they don't have to do that, and that they still can do those jobs as a full-time job and get to live with it and pay their stuff when they are not working anymore. Because what people often, it was always called, it's not relevant for the system. What you're gonna do when you're at home and not able to go out and anything, and you're watching Netflix and something like that. If you don't have hobbies, which a lot of surprisingly many people do not have really hobbies, and you're just watching Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all that shit.
Yeah, binge watching.
There's also artists and stuff like that. And or if you're just listening to music, there's also musicians.
Yeah. Definitely. And
if they don't. If they are not able to continue making what they're doing,
all those series and movies,
then what you gonna do? And I really hope that Corona has gotten the people more aware of that arts and especially music is for free, okay, but it is not for free at the same time. It's the people are working there. There are oftentimes you hear, why didn't you get a proper job? Well, fuck you. You don't just become a musician like, okay, I do music now. It's years and years of practice and experiencing and hard work and blood, sweat, tears that you put into it to actually get to the level that you can actually earn money from that.
Yeah, and perform.
That's not you pick up an instrument and 1 year after that you're a professional musician who earns his income from that.
Yeah, totally.
And people don't understand that. And often people say, it's fun for you. Well, you don't have to get paid for it. Well, fuck you. And for me, when we're organizing shows and we really have to think, what can we take as a entry fee for the people to come in? What can we charge the people that they still come? Yeah. But we have to get our expenses back, because when you're playing a show, you have to rent the place, you have to rent the PA.
So all the people, the equipment, all the time, gas, cars, etc.
And even food. A lot of times, what you get from the income is to pay all the
expenses,
the expenses, and the only thing that you actually make with the shows is what you sell for merch or stuff like that. That's really common, and a lot of people, when they come like spontaneously come to the show and like, I don't know, I don't want if I want to spend that money, and if sometimes I'm doing the entry there, and I'm sitting there like and thinking in my head, fuck you don't know how many hours only today these people have already put in this, and you think like $10 are too much for that. How much do you earn in 1 hour? And these people are already up for like 10-12 hours. Like there are times that you go up and get up in the morning, let's say 8 o'clock in the morning, which is still late for me. Then you get all the stuff done, you get to the venue, and you get home like 2 or 3 in the clock at night. If not more, if the venue is more far away. Yeah,
you often find that,
and you don't get any income from that. If you're lucky, you do it. But there's often shows that you don't get any income from that, and that income that comes from that is already getting reinvested in all the merch and CD production and stuff like that. Yeah, and then if people are like, no, $10 are too much for me, and you're like, dude,
just shut the fuck up. just come on, man.
Yeah,
it's not the right day for this.
But again, you have to say the people that don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So okay, and sometimes when I'm really like fuck you, then I tell them. So. I try not to get pissed about, but of course. I know $10 bucks.
Nice.
So I know $10. Yeah, that would be maybe 4 beers or so. I can understand that, but consider these guys are up like from 8 o'clock in the morning to now, and they are going to work until in the middle of the night or even until the morning.
Yeah,
is $10 really that much for that? And then people, okay, you're right.
Totally.
Or example, when you're producing the latest video we produced. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was coming back home at 6 o'clock in the morning. And people can watch the video at YouTube for free. They don't have to pay anything. And we don't get any income from that. We're just paying for that. It was already fun, and it's the video. It's really nice to watch it after that. But it's a lot of work.
I mean,
not only
it,
that day. Where you are awake for 24 hours and that's not being awake for 24 hours. Most people really underestimate what a video shoot is like.
It's rough.
You play
so many hours.
You play the song like 20 times or so, like that, to get all the shots in. And every time you play it, you have to look as if you're playing it the first time, and if you're fit. And after the 10th time, you're moshing for 5 minutes straight and giving it your all, because it has to look fresh and every movement has to, You're just fucked. It's not like on a stage you play like, let's say 7 or 8 songs. And then you're fucking, it's like an hour or so. And but if you're playing the 20th time, then you're like, oh, my neck hurts. I cannot headbang. I cannot headbang anymore. You're just exhausted. And it was after every video shoot like that we had. I was driving back home, and I was shortly before taping my head onto the seat in order to be able to hold it.
So not just fall apart.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Okay.
And that's really what people underestimate. It's not just one take and you have it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we actually it's commonly that we have takes in it which you could take as the whole video, but you be perfectionist and you don't say okay, that's it.
Of course.
No,
you want to do it again. Okay, let's make it better.
Yeah, or if just maybe there's one take in it where it would be better, even if it's just 1 second where somebody looks like in the camera like, then you do another shot to compensate for that or whatever.
Just doing mimics.
Yeah, but
let me ask you about basically the takeaways you got from this hard time. Almost over a year now of Corona. The lessons you've learned and you would give all the artists, all the musicians per se that maybe are starting out, founding their own music groups.
In general, or considering hard times like these?
Both.
Okay. First, for those hard times, one of the main lessons I learned: try to stay positive and not concentrate on the problem, but concentrate on the solution, which is something very common if you're going into personal development, which is a very common phrase, but it is really like that. If you can't play shows anymore, then figure out what can you do beside of that. Can you still produce records? Do you have the possibilities?
Yeah.
Concentrate maybe more on social media to get your fan base growing.
Yeah.
Without concerts. Something what I really was concentrating on, especially the first year, was getting better at my instrument, actually, because I had the time. Concentrating on if you can produce records, but then you can still record new stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you're playing shows again and the income comes back, then you can, at that time, you can concentrate more on playing shows, and you already have the songs written. And you then recording all that stuff, that's also a lot of work. But writing the songs, it's actually is a lot more work, I think. So concentrate on what can you do right now.
Yeah.
Also, what do you have to do right now to survive and because of work and stuff like that. But in our case, we have our normal daytime jobs, which are independent from music. So trying to get that as normal as possible to survive. Okay. And then in terms of music, concentrate on what you can do. How can you be productive? And trying to stay motivated and positive.
How do you do that? Like, how do you stay? How do you stay motivated?
Sometimes it's really hard. It's sometimes
when it just doesn't work out.
But you mean like if you do songwriting or stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know, they don't pop, or I don't know, you don't feel like it's having the effect like you're expecting.
Just sometimes it's bare ignorance of the bad stuff, I think.
Ignorance of the bad stuff?
Or no, just trying to... Maybe if I've written a song and I think, yeah, that's cool. And then I post it to the others and they're like, nah, not really.
It sucks.
Then, yeah, I still have the possibilities to, okay, then I write the next one.
Okay.
It was fun to write it. And as a musician, you still have the possibility, then I do a side project, my own project, and use the song for that.
Okay.
Nothing you do is for the trash can. You can always use it for something different.
Yeah.
Or sometimes if a song, maybe they don't like the chorus of it or one verse or
Yeah.
so you can work on the song and it can still make it work. Or there's just one riff of it and you can use it for a whole nother song.
Yeah.
Or you can produce it on your own if you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most musicians don't have only one band.
Which is not that common. Like, I wasn't aware of that.
It's very common to have more than one band. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's not commonly known. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
At least in metal, it is.
Yeah,
It is very common.
You normally have a main band and you also double for others, or interesting. Like as a supplement, like.
No, also really, you're also that you're fixed part of other bands. I had it at times.
Yeah.
Myself. Right now, for example, our drummer is also guitarist for a band called ShredRob.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're
all over the place.
Yeah, they're doing a whole another subgenre.
Yeah. That's so weird, isn't it? That you're not kind of bound to the music group you're in.
No, it is like that. It's maybe some people see it a little bit more strict, but we're
maybe it's more common in this genre, right?
I mean, if he would now take all the ideas we had for Words of Farewell and would take it for ShredRob, maybe we would say, that's not so cool.
Okay, so
but that's not the case because it's whole different genres.
Okay. So it needs to work.
Yeah, it's okay as long as he can fit it into his free time. It's okay for him. It's okay. We don't have a problem with it. And also, of course, sometimes you are just a supplement for other bands. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, our buddies from Antilles, from Münster, some of them are...
Antilles is another music group?
Yeah. Okay. They're more straight death metal and black death metal. Mm-hmm. Very cool band. I really enjoy listening to them. They're so-called our best buddies band-wise.
Okay, nice.
Always enjoy playing shows with them. Big shout-out.
Nice.
And sometimes they fill in for us, or they are ready to fill in for us if one of us is not able to play the shows. And also we have played some shows with them. Mm-hmm. We also had one show where Oscar from Antilles and I had the little game. I was standing in front of the stage and he was like, I have to go for a piss, and he handed over the guitar to me, and the other guys didn't know that what are we playing now? And it was on the set list, and that I just played the song without them knowing. And then after that we did the headliner for that show, and then he filled out that's one of our songs for me. But then by that time, the other guys from my band were like, when does he come on stage? If Rob filled in for him, then he will most likely fill in for Rob.
It sounds like fun. You can play around, right?
Yeah. So if you learn quite fast, and if you're able to pull it off right without rehearsing and stuff like that, then you can do that.
Damn.
That's always fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
I want to actually...
I always, I'm like a politician. I schweife ab.
Talk.
And what was the question?
Crazy.
General advice for younger musicians, which I'm pretty old, but I still consider.
I'm
not that old.
32, bro. Come on.
I still consider myself as a younger musician, actually. Maybe because sometimes in my head I feel like I'm 15 years old or stuff like that.
You just need to compare yourself with, I don't know, like Bruce Springsteen. Boom, you're young.
Yeah. No, like musicians that are just starting. I can by no means say that I know everything about music, because there is so much you learn every day. Mm-hmm. One of the most important things, I guess, for me is never stop learning, whether it is the technical aspect of conquering your instrument or the theoretical aspect, which I underestimated a lot of years and way too long, and I could punch myself in the face for that by now.
Keep being curious. Keep being curious.
Yeah.
Right.
And not only with music, also in the normal daytime job.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course. Always constantly evolve, learn constantly. And when it comes to the technical aspects, and also the the theoretical aspects, focus on the basics first.
Okay.
Which I did not do a long time. And I think that if I would have done that, I would be a lot better today.
Okay.
Because that's always if it's with training, you start training. Do your squats, your bench press, and your pull-ups or whatever, and your deadlifts, and that's the basics. That's good. You're good to go. Yeah. You don't need some special
machines.
And if it comes to like playing guitar, so really concentrate on playing tight.
Yeah.
How to hold a pick, how to really fret the strings. Then for what technique, how to pick the strings, in what manner, how to write chord progressions, for example. If you're writing for like melodic death metal, for example, how to orchestrate chords, which means if I'm having no normal chord on the guitar, you cannot just say, okay, I take a violin and play the same thing right there. No, that just doesn't make it.
Yeah, you have to translate it to that.
Yeah, you have to translate it to a whole orchestra, and how to do that. Yeah. And that was, for example, is something that I am just learning, and that's why my the last year or so, the songs I wrote for the band just sound like 100 times better than the first songs that I was writing. Yeah. Because I just was not aware of that. I knew, okay, I have to write in that key and so on like that. But I didn't know how to translate from my instrument to other instruments. Sure. And that's also important. And that's at least the basics of that make a great part of that. And they're not that hard to learn. You just have to be aware of that. Yeah, and of course, also the technical parts again, how to play that, how to get a good sound from guitar, how to practice. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things. What should I practice and how should I practice it? Yeah, and that's what I concentrate a lot on when I teach my students on how they should practice something like that. Yeah, and I always go over it and over it and over it with them, some basics, so that I tattoo it into their brain.
Yeah, never forget this shit. Come on.
Yeah.
So we have basically keep grinding, never stop. Trying to improve yourself, and at the same time, don't focus too much on the bad parts. And sometimes when what you create is not that well received, right? It's still part of your journey. Don't focus too much on,
and don't get caught up with details. Don't get caught up with details. That's if you're saying this note is too dB, too loud, dude. Yeah, focus on the big picture.
Yeah,
and also with organizational stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Those are not whole grain noodles for the backstage for the catering. You have to focus on the main thing. People have to have something that's they have to have something to eat. Then a great tip if you want to do your own concerts, don't do chili con carne. I really like it and I like to eat it, but there are a lot of bands that say, "Oh, not again."
Oh, really? Okay.
Because it's the most common.
Okay.
It's the most common catering.
You get bored of it,
and a lot of bands get bored of it.
Okay.
And I actually do not get bored of it, but I really had bands I played with. Do you have preferences for the catering? No, chili con carne.
Thank you. No, but there's this,
and that's just like the people have to eat it. Ask them what they prefer before, and then just don't get caught up with details.
Yeah. Definitely. There's a saying, don't be perfect, be good.
Yeah. That's also a common saying with personal development. Perfection slows you down.
It does.
Or what is it called?
And you grow slower like that.
Perfection kills growth. Or no,
Yes,
it's
yes, it does.
perfection kills progression. That's what I think.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. And like it kind of stops you rather than actually putting you forward.
Yeah. You have to focus on the basics and the quality of the basics.
Yeah, definitely.
But when it comes really to the fine details, you if you have to sacrifice on something, sacrifice on that first.
Yeah. Don't hang up on those.
Yeah.
It just slows you down.
Yeah. And always stay curious, stay motivated.
Okay, great. I think we touched quite on a few tips there that people do appreciate when they maybe not sure or they feel down about their creative work.
Yeah.
I want to actually ask you how creativity does play a part in what you do as a musician.
That's, of course, a very big part. But at the same time, it can be a very minor part, I think. I personally would not have to be creative for the records I've produced with Words of Farewell so far, because I've written little for it, but very minor, so not even here a few notes here and there which are not even mentioned and not worth mentioning. But I recorded a lot of that, a lot of the guitars. Like for the last 2 records, most of the rhythm guitars came from me.
Yeah. Okay.
And so you don't have to be creative for that. You just have to be good at the studio, good at your playing, and that's it.
Okay.
So the creativity really is for the songwriting, of course.
When you have to come up with something.
Then for the stage, if you maybe building your own stage gear, like decoration or stuff like that.
Yeah, your own style.
Yeah, which I'm the guy for that.
Yeah, you're working on that as well? Nice.
Yeah, just minor stuff, but I'm the one.
It's image design.
Yeah, it's still minor than that, but I'm the guy who's. I have what's it called? I'm a learned mechatronic.
Yeah.
So I'm good with tools and stuff like that. I really have a handwerkliche Ausbildung.
Yeah.
I have a craftsmanship.
Okay. Yeah.
I think.
My English is not that good either.
I did an apprenticeship as a mechatronic, so I am a mechatronic, and also I'm a mechanical engineer. So it's easy for me to build stuff.
All right. You got a talent for that as well.
Yeah. So therefore, you sometimes have to be a little creative. And yeah, the biggest part, songwriting, I already mentioned that. And for the organizational stuff, sometimes you also have to be creative. What can I do to promote this and that?
Problem solving.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. For the promotion stuff, there are a lot of resources that you can get to.
Yeah.
And we had the benefit that Alyosha from Pitchback Studios, where we produced the latest EP and the new EP, also helped us a lot with promotion and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. The recording studio,
yeah. Thank you, Alyosha. You really... Actually, he grew our fan base more than... he really grew a lot of our fan base. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's about context as well.
Yeah, you have to have the right people in your team.
Definitely.
Yeah, and also if there are problems, then you have to come up with creative ideas to solve them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the biggest part is still the songwriting. But at the same time, you can do a lot of songwriting without being creative. I actually think if I listen to the modern pop music.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Little tease there.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's all of the pop music. There are also songs that I kind of enjoy right now, but there are a lot of songs out there, especially songs that are very popular and very famous, that are more or less generic.
Yeah, we end up in a mass production of music.
Yeah,
so
and also a guy called Jan Böhmermann from German TV did an experiment, and he just did a complete generic song and applied for a German-wide contest or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had some phrases he copied from motivational quotes from Instagram.
Okay.
From some influencers, which I don't even know.
Sure.
So I'm like, who the fuck is that? And then he made a game out of it and got to the zoo and let monkeys pick the quotes in which order to put them. And he made the song text completely out of that. And then he took a chord progression, which is completely standard.
Okay.
And just, and then the part that comes after that is, it's pretty generic, all of that. And he did a song from that. And he really said, this is bullshit, but this is successful. And you really couldn't tell if it was a normal something from the charts or not.
You couldn't tell apart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit because
there
was no big production studio behind it and stuff like that, I think, but there was a producer behind that. And it was pretty close.
I need to watch that. I'm getting curious.
Do that. That's,
But it does speak for the industry.
Yeah. Or for people who don't know, watch a video called 4 Chord Songs. There is a band who plays the same chord progression over and over, and they put 50 songs in it, which you all know.
Wow.
That's a little...
It reminds me, generally of reggaeton. You know reggaeton.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So, I don't know, I've been a long time a really hater of reggaeton. I really disliked it.
Sometimes I enjoy it.
Exactly. Now I came to a point where there are a few things okay, this is fun to hear.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's they do all sound the same. To
it's
me,
a lot of similar stuff.
It's oh my god, it's always the same beat.
Offbeat guitars.
Come on, right? And if you actually read the lyrics, it's just destroys here. It's
that's not the kind of music I really listen to. It's for me to chill out and have it in the background.
Yeah, right.
Which I don't want to downplay the people that do it. There are great musicians in it, really. And I think they really have a really great mindset. Some of them. But it's just not the music I would really listen to.
Yeah.
But of course you can get pretty crazy with being creative on songs. And
as much as you want.
Yeah, and that's the part where it really gets fun. And sometimes there, of course, you have to be creative.
Yeah.
And what that was is something what I would call the difference between spontaneous creativity and forced creativity.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes you're at work and you just have a riff in your head or a rhythm or just a whole beginning of the song,
which comes
and you're I gotta remember that somehow. Write it down.
Yeah,
that's cool. But you can still force creativity. For example, maybe you go to the studio and you just say, I pick this chord progression.
Yeah.
And then you maybe also the standard 4 chord song chord progression.
You start playing around.
You just start playing with that. And then you maybe say, okay, I take this chord and make an inversion from it. You play the same notes, but not in the same order.
Yeah.
Okay, let's first change up that. And then after that, maybe change up this chord because it's too boring, have only this chord progression, change it to this and that chord. And maybe do a different variation from that chord, not just a normal, for example, minor chord, but a suspended chord or something like that. And already then it sounds a lot different.
Yeah.
And you can already with simple chord progressions, you can create feelings and emotions. Especially if you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Of course, some things happen from accident, but that's always a good stuff where you can start.
Yeah.
And then try to create a melody over it. Then just, for me, it's sometimes it's easier to write the actual chord progression on a guitar, on an acoustic guitar, because I know the chords by heart. And then after that, try to write a melody over that. Despite of being a guitarist, sometimes for me it's easier to write that on a piano.
Yeah.
So then I just noodle around on the piano a little bit and say, oh, that sounded cool. Let's take that. Maybe, okay, that phrase fits for like the first bar of the chord progression. Then for the second one, maybe just take the same thing and change one note. Or take the same notes and just change the timing of the notes and build from there. And then just make little steps and changes to that. And that's a way to come up with ideas. And that's something I often do. And you can, for some genres, you can, for example, do it very generically, which is already a lot of fun. You take like Morse codes or binary codes. You just pick a sentence and say, I don't know.
Anything. I went to the kitchen and ate a sandwich.
Yeah.
And you translate that into Morse
for
code.
example, you take that in binary code, and then you come up with some patterns or what's it called? Not arithmetics.
How do you mean?
How does, for example, YouTube promote other videos? It's the
Ranking?
No, not ranking. I forget the term. Even in German, I forget the term.
Okay.
So you just say, okay, I have now this only zeros and ones, and I say, okay, every second or every other one, I translate to the maybe seventh or the third step of the key I want to write in, and then every third zero I translate to the fifth or sixth step of the I want to write in. And then you say, okay, now I have the notes I want to have, and now I have to come up with a rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you maybe put the same sentence into Morse code, and then you have always these longer and shorter ones.
Yeah, you have dots and lines.
Yeah, and you say, okay, every dot is maybe, for example, 16th note, and every line is an 8th note. Yeah. And just put that into the order of it. And then you just fill a few bars with it and cut it at the end.
Yeah, see how it sounds.
And maybe it sounds good, maybe it sounds totally horrible. But sometimes you get up with very funny ideas that actually sound good. And that's if you don't have any clue at all what you do, but you have to come up with something. Yeah. Or you just want to learn something.
Well, I like that.
Just do
that's
that.
very creative. I've never heard that before.
There are a lot of videos about it actually how to do that.
Yeah, and how it sometimes works.
Yeah, and you can create more. That was just a very simple pattern right now, but you can come up with very complex stuff. How to write something, and I guess that's also there's a music called gent. I would not be surprised if a lot of people who play that really oftentimes use that method. Okay.
Gent is like a music style?
Yeah.
Gent. Never heard that before.
It's a subgenre of metal.
Yeah? Okay. Gent. Nice. I actually want to also sort of, because we're getting towards the end of the episode, I want to ask about the future, what's coming up with the music group. With words of farewell, what can we expect from the group in the coming years?
You can for sure expect that we are working on expanding our audience and
putting out on social media.
Putting us out more and more. We try to grow as a band constantly. We try to play more shows and more festivals, and especially which could be hard right now because all the festivals have been postponed, and I guess they still have their lineups fixed. So even when the festivals restart, then we have to wait for the next year in order to get into it back again. So I think we're focusing a lot on what we can do actually, not that much on concerts. If there are chances to play concerts, we play them.
Yeah.
Because we want to get on stage.
Sure.
I guess as soon as the bars can be filled again, we will just do the fun of playing at my local bar again, just to do something.
If the people want to check that out, where they can find that, which bar, where? You can have an eye out on that.
It's a small bar in Beckum. It's called Die Quelle.
Die Quelle. All right.
It's a very small bar, but very cool. Sometimes there's just Schlager or Volksmusik playing there, but also the same evening maybe there's even death metal playing.
Oh my god!
So it's very cool.
Okay.
So that would be, I guess I would not be surprised if that would be the first show that we play again, because that's in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks we get the organization done and we can play there.
Cool.
And other concerts take a little bit more organization.
Yeah.
Because that's my hometown, and
I would love to. Yeah. I mean, next time you let me know, I'll come.
Cool. Yeah. So as soon as we can get on stage, we get back on stage.
All right.
But I think we'll try not to waste time to get on stage somehow and not do it very good.
Okay.
So we try to concentrate on the stuff that is most important and that is most benefiting for the audience and for us.
So you're preparing
because we wouldn't want to organize a show where everybody has to wear a mask and everybody has to sit on chairs.
Yeah.
If we play a metal show, then it's going to be a metal show.
Yeah.
If we organize it. I guess if this shit goes on for a few more years, maybe we are thinking different. But I think right now we have the mindset, if we organize a show, then it has to be a great show where people think, yeah, good old times, mosh pit and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have like a certain degree, right?
We want the people to
have
at
least this good.
We want people to have fun, and we want to have fun.
Sure, you don't want to waste their money.
And of what you have to take in consideration is the show at a local bar, and the first songs are going to be played sober. The first songs.
Yeah,
and
those
after
are the worst.
And
it gets only better.
And the longer we play, the more drunk we will get, I guess, because that's then just party. Normally we don't drink before we get on stage, maybe 1 or 2 beers, but that's it, because we are not able to play that again. But again, when you're drinking on stage is another thing than if you go on stage and are already drunk.
Okay.
I couldn't do the show. If you start on the stage and you drink, then it's a whole different thing.
Sure, it's easier to get away with.
Yeah, because you're getting used to it slowly while playing, and then you can still play the stuff.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
May I ask you how many guitars you have already destroyed on stage?
0.
Disappointing.
It's a fuckload of money. I'm poor. I'm a musician. Go buy my merch. No,
this guy wants to destroy more guitars.
No. I would never. No.
No, it's not your style.
No. Back in the days, yeah, you could do it. If you're a rock star, you can do it. But I don't see any point in that.
All right.
And I also think
people love it.
Nah, I don't know if people really like that. I would, if somebody does it on stage, unless it's a very big band and I know it's maybe a crappy guitar.
Yeah.
I would say, dude, you could have donated that guitar for someone who cannot afford it, because music is a very expensive hobby.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
So I would say, dude.
Okay, so it's not.
And I try to be at least a little bit, somewhat of a role model, and. Yeah, it's just not a good role model to destroy instruments and stuff, which you could really donate to stuff and could do good stuff with it.
Fair point. Maybe it's just me that I've seen it a few times. I loved it. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it still has this rock star vibe, but for me, for me it has more unprofessional vibe than a rock star vibe.
Okay.
But As
Interesting
I
to
say,
hear
if-
the other way around.
yeah,
actually, as well.
when I saw like Kirk Hammett in old Metallica days destroying his guitars, it was like, yeah, okay, he can get away with it. But I actually, at the same time, knows it's part of the show, and I know that under the stage,
Yeah.
his guitar tech is fixing this guitar at the same moment, more or less.
Okay.
And also, he's getting those guitars like from the company. It's
Yeah.
like,
In
or
masses.
give me 10 more, and because they're absolutely huge band.
Definitely. All right. Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense when you can afford it.
And at the same time, there are situations of some where, like James Hetfield, the singer of Metallica, like gives guitars away to aspiring musicians, and that for me that is a lot more creative than destroying.
Yeah, it
expensive
makes more
equipment.
good than bad for sure.
If you have equipment and you have really used a lot of time, and it was like it's old stuff, and actually it is really creepy, crappy.
Oh, crappy.
Then
Like,
destroy it.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, then
Like, come on, dude.
destroy it. Come on.
Those times are
But-
over.
But actually, my main guitar is it's a single piece. It's a custom guitar,
Yeah.
or my signature, if you want to call it.
What kind of guitar do you have?
It's from gitarrendoc.de. It's my guitar build. It's a small guitar shop. Sebastian Kneffel. He does very good guitars, very great guitars.
But custom or?
It's custom, completely custom.
Nice.
I also designed the shape by myself on because I'm a design engineer and I have the resources to design that.
That's dope. That's pretty cool.
The shape is really familiar, but if you get into the details, I did a lot of the shapes myself.
It's an electric guitar. I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
7-string electric guitar.
7-string.
Yeah, but tuned down to a tuning of a 8-string guitar.
Why do you need so many strings?
Because it's deep. Yeah,
Lower ones.
yeah. You want to play low as fuck, and you still want to play solos over there. So.
Yeah. I got you.
But 8-string would be too much for me. I don't like it. That's really too much for me. I can't. And maybe I could handle it, but I guess
What
it's
is
not for me.
8-string?
8-string.
8-string. Okay.
So even one more string, and then the
Yeah.
fretboard gets so wide.
You have a huge hand for that, for sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't be something for me. 7-string is I can still play with that, but
my
I
God.
don't need more.
Which is already a lot. Like, I play guitar sometimes. I'm not good at it, but I play like classical guitar.
Yeah.
And
Flamenco.
Yeah, that's right.
A bit of rumba.
But already 6 strings, just it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, he does very good instrument, and when I coming back to destroying instruments, at first, yes, I got a huge discount on it, but I still paid a lot for that.
Of course, it's a custom guitar,
But, I focused on getting all the best equipment in it that I can
best
get.
material.
And it's so durable. Maybe I would rather destroy the stage with it than the guitar.
God, it's made out of metal.
No, but it's solid wood, and stages are wood too. So you see what collapses first.
Fair fight. Stage versus guitar.
Okay, so we're getting towards the end. Before I forget it, I want you to invite you to share with the audience where they can actually find more information about the music group. Like, let's let it be a website or an Instagram channel or anything like that.
Yeah, we have our normal website, wordsoffarewell.com. You can find us on YouTube. We have our own channel there. We have some videos on that, some live videos, some playthroughs, and the last official video is uploaded there too. We have to see how the things with the upload filters continue. If we are allowed to still upload playthrough videos and stuff like that from the stuff that is published under different labels. We don't actually know how this will continue, but you will find something there. And our older music videos you can find under the channel of AFM Music. And the newer ones you will find under the new label.
Yeah, okay. Which you can't name right now.
Yeah. Then we...
Instagram, maybe?
We, of course, have an Instagram account. Just search for Words of Farewell.
Nice.
Then Facebook, same story. Search for Words of Farewell.
For those who still use it.
It is not that. It is still big. Quite. You always think, it's not that big, but it is still, especially for music.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least for metal music, but I think for the rest also. Facebook is still bigger than you think.
I do use it as well, but the other day I heard something that just devastated me. Like a young girl, like she's like, I don't know, 14, and she was like, "Oh, Facebook's for old people."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh no, that just hurts so much."
Yeah.
But anyway,
cool.
And
then you can of course check my Instagram account. That is ShredRob, ShredRob. Which will be linked, of course, from this podcast.
All those links will be able to find
for people maybe who want some guitar lessons. I also do them over Zoom or Skype.
Nice. They can reach out to you.
Yeah, of course, anytime. Also, when it comes to not only completely guitar related sessions, but really if people want to have tips when it comes to gear and equipment, or like what can I do to improve my stage appearance and stuff like that. Yeah,
anything related to music, specifically guitars and live performance, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And hopefully I can help. Of course, if a jazz player wanted to learn from me, I would not be the the guy to reach out to. But if it comes to metal in general, then reach out for me. And if it would be too hard for me and I would really have to say, that's too high for me, then I would still be able to tell you a few people that I can maybe transition you to that can help for sure.
Okay, so there are always some tips you can give away.
Yeah.
All right, nice. I think people do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And they will be able to find all the links, on the episode itself, but also on all social posts.
Yeah. Instagram, ShredRob, or ShredRob.info @gmail.com, which is my email for stuff like that.
Nice. Hello, Rob.
Just reaching out to you here.
Nice. Before we end up, I wanted to, because I like to do that, ask you if there's anything you want to share with us that we haven't talked about that you need to give across. We have touched quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, we have touched a lot. So, as my arm says, never give up.
Okay. Oh, nice. I haven't actually noticed that. It's hard to see because it's actually on the lower part of your forearm. But we went through the music industry of
try to stay positive no matter what is what I can give mostly to the people is mostly like personal development stuff, like which I have read a lot about, and if I hadn't read it I would maybe not sit here. Maybe try to stay positive, focus on solutions, not on the problem. Perfection kills progress, but still concentrate on delivering good quality. Know where you can sacrifice and know where you should not.
Okay, nice, yeah.
Reflect yourself always as a musician. Back in the day, like when I was playing like 4 or 5 years or so, I thought, I'm the greatest guitarist. Yeah, I know. Oh, fuck.
Okay.
You should not have said that.
But be self-critical.
Yeah,
not too much, but
be honest. Don't pull yourself down.
All right.
Yeah. Don't play yourself down. Don't say, I'm not that good. But be self-critical.
All right. Yeah.
I've for myself like to say I'm not seeing myself as a uber killer guitarist.
Sure.
But I would think I'm quite good,
yeah,
and I can deliver on stage, and I'm constantly evolving. So,
can't ask much more for that than that. All right. Okay, cool. I appreciate those words from you. if I would be a beginner guitarist and musician, I would definitely would have taken something away from today.
That's good.
Even if it's just something that can help my mindset about that, you know. So I found today's episode quite interesting. I really like the topics we talked about. I found it rich and valuable.
That's good.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah, which is one of my goals, right? I want this to be fun, entertaining, but at the same time also useful if you listen to it.
I hope I didn't lose track too drastically most of the time. I tend to do that.
No, but this platform is kind of there to breathe a little. You know, it's not too tight. You don't have 5 minutes to get across your point. Yeah. You can chill, drift a little bit off. That's fine. All right,
good.
This is one of the main things I like about this podcast, right? And about the podcast idea on itself.
Yeah. Also easier to respond if you don't have to answer too strictly to certain questions and then.
Yeah, right. It's not a script. It's very. It comes as it comes, right? Yeah. You just flow along.
Hard enough to find words in a foreign language.
Definitely, really impressive. Like. Every time I invite someone that is not natively speaking English, it's always such a big effort. And I do really find that brave, those who make that step and actually try.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, it's just something you have to get used to.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes when there's projects in my company, when I have like English speaking customers, then at that time I get used to it and I can talk. And if it's not like that for like maybe a couple of years, then you have to come into it again. But it's always like that.
At the end, it's just keep grinding, right? Don't give up. Appreciate you being here, taking the time. We're all busy, so really got that. I hope seeing you next time on stage, maybe in a bar.
Well, I'm really looking forward to
that would be lovely.
Normally, all the people, I want to get away from that bar, so I want to play big stages. And I'm like that. Fuck it. Either a big stage or the smallest bar. No, not the smallest bar, or that bar.
You rock both equally.
Yeah. And generally, it comes to are you appreciated or not. Yeah. And then it doesn't matter if it's like 10 people in front of that. If they have fun and you have fun, that's all good.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for that. I hope you all that listened today enjoyed the show. If you would like to be part of it, please feel free to reach out to me. My name's Lucas, and this was a Creative Cast.